the call for all dogs to be kept on leads after the sad death of Freddie the seal. And obviously the woman who owns the dog that was responsible for Freddie's sad and untimely death is heartbroken, she says. Really heartbroken, but it was said by observers that she just wasn't unable to control her dog.
Yeah.
So we're going to be asking about that on the programme too.
Yeah, and we're talking about that right now, actually.
Great,
so
thanks,
that was a
Clara.
good link. There you go. Thank you, Vanessa Feltzer, with you from 7 here on BBC Radio London. We've all seen the upsetting images of Freddie the seal, who had to be put down after being attacked by a dog on the River Thames in Barnes. The owner of the dog, Rebecca Saban-Clare QC, has since said that she is heartbroken over the attack and apologises unreservedly. She'll not face charges over the incident. Duncan Phillips is a photographer who witnessed the attack.
It was a savage attack, so it was quite shocking. It seemed to be going on forever. I mean, the dog just wasn't letting go. I mean, it had its teeth in and it was clamped on.
It's every pet owner's worst nightmare. So how do we ensure that our pets do not put other animals' lives in danger? And what should we do if our pet is being attacked? Let's speak to the dog listener, Jen Fennell, and she joins me on the line now. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning to you.
Jan, sorry. How are you this morning? I apologise, Jan.
That's okay.
We've all seen this footage. It is, well, I haven't watched the footage. I've seen a picture because it's just too much for me. And we know that the dog owner has apologised unreservedly. But, I mean, it's just so shocking, isn't it?
The problem is, first of all, we've given the seal a name.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it happened at Barnes by the river, that makes it even worse. You look at the amount of farmers who right now are picking up the remains of their sheep and lambs from dog attacks.
Yeah.
The point being, they're calling for them being kept on lead, then because it's Freddie the seal. We're such hypocrites. We really are. We selectively choose which animals we're going to feel sorry for.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
And I guess it's also because there were people there to get the footage in the first place, whereas as you're saying, maybe if it's a sheep or a lamb, we're unaware of it, I think, as well. And
that's the point.
Yeah.
That is it. Basically, what you have is a world of people who think, it doesn't matter, it's only my dog.
Yeah.
When it does matter, they take their dogs out, they release them, and they have no recall.
Right.
They have no quality recall. So what they've done is they've taken themselves out, released a weapon,
right, yeah,
and then make excuses afterwards for why that weapon did what it does naturally. You cannot blame the dog because this is instinctive. There's lunch. It doesn't matter if it's a swan, a seal, anything. If it is a potential meal, then the dog's instincts kick in.
But having said that, Jan, is there not a way that we can have more control over
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And how you do that, it's exactly the same as, everybody talks about how to stop a dog pulling on the lead.
Yes.
Right. Well, my method, Amersham bonding, is all about setting yourself up to succeed. So I teach a dog to walk by my side nicely with good manners without a lead to begin with in the home. I teach them with food rewards because the dog's like you and me, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
And I get them to walk nicely by my side. And only when they've got that, only when I taught them what I want, do I add the lead. In that time while we're going through that, we work on recall. That is, come sweetheart, good dog, get it to come to you until it's an instinctive association of it's a good association between the dog and you, i.e. I call my dog, it thinks it's great to come to me. Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you build this in before you let them loose.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then the simple answer is don't let them loose. This idea of keeping dogs on lead, I would always use a long line.
Yes.
And when you first go out, if you're not sure, have a long line on.
Yeah.
And then practice your recall.
Yeah.
But of course, this takes consideration and time. And that's where you get people say, I haven't got time for that. You've got the flipping dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have no sympathy at all.
So this is part and parcel, you're saying, of being a responsible pet owner, is that, it's not just about having a dog and loving them and being kind to them. It's about putting this training in place to make sure that you can be a responsible dog owner.
Look, it's exactly the same as if I was to buy a Mercedes, or a Alfa Romeo, and drive determined. I know they can do 120, so I'm going to do this down the motorway, irrespective of anything else or anybody else. That's what I want to do because it's capable of it. We live in a social setting.
Yes.
And what we have to stop doing is thinking of ourselves as being free to do whatever we like. We are social animals and there are social rules. So, integrity, consideration is something that just seems to have gone out the window. People think, it's my dog, I want it to run free. Oh, great. Oh, great, that's nice of you. If you're I know of a young gentleman, he was going for a job interview, and he was all suited and booted, and he was crossing a park as a shortcut, and a dog raced up to him, jumped up, muddy paws, all down his suit, and the owner saying, oh, he's only being friendly. How lovely. That young man, fortunately, when he went to the interview, they understood. He was blabbered.
Yeah.
So it's a case of stop inflicting your pet, your dog. You see, that's the other thing. Sorry to go on, but there's so many things. Society, we call them fur babies, or we call them pooches, doggies. No, they're dogs. They are nature's killers, and in fact, they're the biggest killers of humans in the world.
Really?
Yes, you can forget your hippos and everything else. More dogs in the world cause the death of people than any other animal.
I did not know that. And you know what I think, though? I've watched kind of lots of different programs about dogs over the years. And what I do hear people say is, we have to remember they are animals. They're not, children. They are animals
wolves.
And they need to be treated as such.
With respect.
Yeah.
With respect.
Yeah.
I mean, they are wolves. The fact that it's a Chihuahua or a Rottweiler, and I'm sorry to pick on those, it's just size-wise I'm doing that.
One scale to the other.
That's right. In their head, they're the same thing. They're a wolf.
Right.
And unless you treat them with that level of respect, then you're going to get trouble. And people keep on doing it. The farmers beg people to be considerate. I've actually just recently rescued a former street dog.
Right.
And her natural thing is, I can go where I like. So do you think I let her off the lead when we're out? No. Like heck I do.
Yeah.
Because the recall is not there yet. When we go out, she's on a long line.
Right.
And she stays on that long line when we're out because she's my responsibility.
Yeah.
And, it's a simple thing in life. We have to own what we decide to do is fine as long as we don't inflict it on other people in innocence. Yeah.
Jan, thank you so much for talking to me this morning. I think the message there, the overarching message is that when you take on a dog, when you decide to get a dog, it's your responsibility to make sure that dog is trained and to know that dog's personality and to make sure that you do what's best, not just for you and the dog, but also best for the other people around you. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. That's Jan Fennell there, the dog listener. So do check out more from Jan. And I think that's right. I don't have a dog myself, but I do think it is about training them. I've got a cat and there's no training her, no matter how hard I've tried. A little bit of a different matter. You're listening to Clara Hermit here on